All right. I mean, mixed reactions so far from speaking from Michael to both of you who just spoke now. But let's get to hear from you, Ben. I mean, just in moving forward now, let's look at these things bit by bit because while the president was campaigning, he had three key issues that he wanted to tackle: corruption, fight against insurgency, which is security, as well as the economy. But let's look at the fight against corruption. How would you say, or how would you rate the government's fight against corruption in the past year?
The fight against corruption has been very, very dramatic in 2017, and we are still hoping that a lot of things we're hoping to see the president do more maybe in 2018. But the president was suffering from some kind of health challenges that took him away from office, and this has also affected the fight against corruption somehow. And also, if you look at the fight against corruption, we've not seen much conviction, but we are still hoping that probably in 2018 convictions will start coming in. But again, we have to look at the recovery that they have made. They've made a whole huge recovery, and one of the things we are waiting to see is that we were waiting for them to publish the names of looters. I think the Federal High Court has made a judgment concerning to that effect, and so we are hoping that they will also publish the names of looters very soon. And looking at the Magu saga, and we're thinking that in 2018 Magu will be confirmed as an EFCC chairman, but unfortunately, the drama still continue. And you also have to look at the NIA saga, the NIA with the EFCC saga, what happened between those two sister agencies is another big issue. And we begin to wonder if a house that is divided against itself, if it can really, if that house can stand. But so far, so good. The president have done his own little best, and we wish him well. And we've seen the customs increased, and also jam has increased, and no fee was was added to the normal registration fee. I think so far corruption has been dealt with. If you look at what has happened in the past, so it means that this government is trying to fix some internal mechanisms so that uh, you can curtail this corruption from hanging around. Just like the Minister of Information said that corruption, which I will agree with him, that corruption has practically been removed from the table and
All
has been swept under from the table. So I think I will agree with the minister on that note. But what I'm afraid now, the kind of the systemic corruption that is happening, which I know too well that there are some systemic corruption that is happening, which I believe that some smart people in the system will take advantage of the inability of the EFCC to prove a case beyond every reasonable doubt. If they can really trace those kind of systemic corruption
all right, Ben.
and bring those people to
Let,
book.
I mean, we have to wait and see how that will play out. Let me just come back to you, Henry. Speaking about the economy, I mean, like you said, we left Nigeria crawled out of recession in the year 2017, but 2018, what will be the outlook? Because people will be looking at, consolidating on the success recorded in the past year.
In 2018, I expect that the economic recovery will be more positive. If you look at the statistics that the NBS has been releasing, inflation is slowly but surely moving back towards single figures. It still has a long way to go. We have seen a gradual decrease in inflation rates, even albeit slowly.
I would appreciate it if you stop swinging your chair, Henry.
Okay, sorry. The chair is a bit comfortable. Okay, so as I was saying, we can see that inflation rate is slowly but surely moving back towards single digits. I expect that recovery to continue in 2018. I also expect the economic recovery, the growth rate, to begin to pick up faster. I expect also that the economy, there will be a lot more spending money available for people, and for obvious reasons. The land will be awash with money in 2018. The elections are coming, and all of the parties are going to be spending a lot in 2018, and that would inject some more funds into the economy. Beyond that, I expect that some of these bonds and some of these loans we have taken will also begin to have some effect on the spending power of the people, as more contracts will be given out to build roads, to build bridges, to build rail lines. More contractors will be out there paying more laborers, and those laborers, in turn, paying people by the side, the indirect economy that pop up along those lines. So
All right.
I expect 2018 to be a year where there'll be more spending money, the economic recovery faster, inflation will pull back even more towards single digits.
All right, very well. Michael, let me come bring this conversation. Now, back to you. Henry made mention of statistics released by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, one of which is that unemployment rate, has increased.
Yes.
Do you think, I mean, you talked about politics, but do you think the politicians will make favorable policies, to bring that figure lower than it is at the moment?
But I expect politicians this year, 2018, to start campaigning based on jobs and the economy. So probably we will have more. They will consult more economists in making their policies. But as we all Nigerians, it's more, they'll do more of the talking, and when it's time for action, they won't do anything. I mean, we saw the APC promised 3 million jobs per year, and this year we lost 4 million Nigerians lost their jobs. 2017. So it's so obvious, like they just do more of talking without doing action. So
what about, I mean, security? I mean, because they talked about the job creation, security,
of course, we need to give it
as well as anti-corruption.
We need to give it to the APC government in terms of security. They build for security in the up north, and even though they claim they've defeated Boko Haram, but that's a big lie. But they've been able to reduce and decimate them to just a little part of the Lake Chad basin area, and people in Maiduguri, Yobe, and have their life backs. But although we've seen some few the bombings in those areas, but at least it's not as usual before, where every Christmas, every Sunday there's always bombing. But now we have people going up their normal day and having their normal lives.
$1 billion will be taken from the excess crude accounts to make sure. I mean, that's the reason that was given. Do you think it was the right step?
Of course, it is. It's just that people will play politics with it, but we are fighting war. You're not fighting the regular, maybe taming touts or something. This is a war, and you're spending money on guns, bombs, aircraft, buying fuel, feeding the soldiers. So it's going to cost more, even more than that. But of course, I expect the politicians to play politics with it and say, oh, they're wasting money, but it's the right thing they're doing.
All right, we have to leave the conversation here. Michael Abimboye, thanks for joining us on the program. Well, we have to leave the conversation here again, but thank you, all of you who joined us on the program, be it from the UK, Henry from Abuja, as well as Ben from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. We'll take a break. I'll be back with the most viewed videos in the year 2017. Please stay with us.